Good evening and welcome to Ukraine Brief on TVP World. It's been 1,395 days since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is in Warsaw with an official visit. He met with Prime Minister Donald Tusk, who returned earlier today from Brussels, where European leaders decided on further financial support for Ukraine. Earlier in the day, Zelenskyy met with President Karol Nawrocki. President Zelenskyy arrived in Warsaw on Thursday evening and was welcomed by Poland's President Karol Nawrocki on Friday afternoon. It is the first time the two leaders have met since Nawrocki took office after winning the Polish presidential elections in June. Zelenskyy expressed gratitude, saying he is glad to be back and hopeful that the trip marks a new, deeper stage in Ukraine-Poland relations. Later, President Zelenskyy also met with the Speaker of the Polish Parliament and Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk. The talks focused on strengthening defense cooperation, maintaining pressure on Russia through sanctions, and supporting Ukraine's security and reconstruction. Tusk said Ukraine's position vis-à-vis Russia had improved and stressed that Poland would continue to stand firmly alongside Kyiv. The leaders also discussed support for Ukrainian refugees living in Poland, including the extension of their legal stay, as well as efforts to return Ukrainian children that had been kidnapped by Russia. Polish President Karol Nawrocki welcomed his Ukrainian counterpart, President Zelenskyy, to Warsaw, calling the visit good news for Poland, Kyiv and the region, and bad news for Moscow.
President Volodymyr Zelenskyy's visit to Warsaw today is undoubtedly good news for Poland, for Warsaw. It's good news for Kyiv, good news for our entire region, but bad news for Moscow and the Russian Federation. This visit is proof that Poland, Ukraine and other countries from the region are on the same page when it comes to cooperating over strategic security.
Zelenskyy has offered Poland help against the drone threats and called for expanded security cooperation, including maritime and threats from Belarus.
Ukraine can offer Poland expertise on countering drone attacks. We know how to defend against all types of drones that could be used today. Furthermore, we are ready to continue dialogue with Poland regarding threats from Belarus. Ukraine can also offer cooperation in terms of maritime security, which I mentioned, and I invited President Nawrocki to visit Ukraine.
Russian forces carried out another series of air and drone strikes across southern and eastern Ukraine, targeting energy, transport and residential infrastructure. At least 16 people were wounded and 2 people were killed in the Kyiv region. In Odessa, in southern Ukraine, Russian forces struck energy and transport infrastructure. According to Ukrainian railways, a signal box was damaged and 1 railway worker was wounded. Despite the damage, trains continue to operate. After recent strikes on the region's grid, more than 280,000 households were left without power. Odessa city authorities say some residents remain without power, water and heating. In the Kyiv region, Russian drone strikes on 4 communities killed 2 people and wounded at least 7. And overnight attacks in the Donetsk and Kherson regions injured 3 people and damaged homes and vehicles. Zaporizhia was also hit by an airstrike, which damaged several private houses and infrastructure and shattered windows. Fires were quickly put out, but at least 7 people were wounded. The strikes caused damage to houses, garages and other infrastructure. Over the past night, Russia launched around 160 kamikaze drones, mostly Shchedryks. According to Ukrainian reports, about 50 drones got through air defenses. Ukrainian security services released footage showing Ukrainian aerial drones striking a Russian Shadow Fleet tanker in the Mediterranean Sea. This marks the first time Ukrainian forces have attacked a fleet in this area. The drones struck the vessel near Kendli off the Libyan coast in waters over 2,000 kilometers from Ukraine, causing critical damage. According to media reports, the tanker was empty at the time of the attack. Kyiv has already made a habit of targeting Russia's shadow fleets in the Black Sea, aiming to interrupt an important source of Moscow's revenue, crude, which finances its war machine. According to estimates, Russia uses more than 1,000 vessels under random flags, frequently of African nations, to circumvent sanctions and keep exports going. The Christmas carol Shchedryk, known worldwide as Carol of Bells, was performed in the turbine hall of a Ukrainian DTEK thermal power plant that had been attacked by Russian forces. This haunting performance inside the damaged facility served as a call to the world to support the restoration of Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Written over a century ago by Mykola Leontovich, Shchedryk has become a symbol of hope. Ukraine's power system has been operating for a fourth consecutive year under constant attacks, experiencing extensive destruction of generational facilities and grids. The event is meant to bring attention to the dearth of Ukraine's energy assets and the urgent need for additional funding, equipment and protection. The performance was part of DTEK's broader efforts to engage international governments, financial institutions and partners in supporting Ukraine's energy sector. And that's all for Ukraine's Brief this evening. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more on TVP World and tvpworld.com. Goodbye.